Parks update for this week. This is July 2nd, 2020, as it says right there at the bottom of the screen. My name is Doobie, co-founder of Laughing Place. With me for today's update, over there, nailed it, is Rebecca.
Yeah, down there.
Hi, everybody.
And over there is Mike Celestino. What's your title?
What's my title? Lead Southern California reporter? Question mark.
Yep.
And right down there is Jeremiah.
So does that make me lead Florida reporter? Question mark.
Central Florida. We have a whole.
Wait, do we have a Northern Florida person? Is somebody going to WikiWatchy and I don't know about it?
That's right.
Oh, WikiWatchy is awesome.
Not been still.
I used to live like half an hour from WikiWatchy in Hernando Beach, Florida.
We are scratching the entire show today.
The rails are gone.
WikiWatchy Spring. Let's do it now. So, we're going to talk about the week in Disney parks and maybe some other fun stuff. We'll see how it goes, how much time we have. Let's get started on the West Coast with Disneyland. Mike, what's the latest at Disneyland? I know they've had some Downtown Disney's opening next week, but maybe not quite the way we thought.
Yeah, so I'm going to read this thing that I brought up here. The governor of California took action to halt visitors to indoor restaurants, bars, wineries, and tasting rooms, entertainment centers, movie theaters, zoos, museums, and card rooms for the next 3 weeks in Los Angeles, Riverside, Ventura, Orange, San Bernardino, and Sacramento counties, and other regions hit hard by the virus. Orange, of course, being the home of the happiest place on earth. So will that affect the opening of Downtown Disney in mere 7 days from now? I don't know. They haven't said. I guess anyone's guess is as good as mine. I do know that the Bowers Museum, where I went just a couple of weeks ago for the reopening of the Disney Archives exhibit, is now closed again. So who knows? We'll see. Stay tuned for more on that.
I'm expecting a lot more outdoor tables. I'm seeing that in a lot of areas where places that previously didn't have outdoor dining are finding ways to set up tables outside. In some regions, they've even gone so far as to shut down traffic to certain neighborhoods, so that way they can have more external entertainment options and allow people to social distance. So I'll be interested to see how Downtown Disney may adapt for it. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they will. It's just one of those. I've seen it experienced in other areas, so I'm curious to see if we'll see that type of ingenuity come to Downtown Disney.
Jeremiah, Disney Springs. Is there indoor dining in Florida right now? There is, right?
Yes. The only thing that we've gotten is bars have to be closed if they're specifically bars. If they don't serve food and there's no food service, and I believe like dining area. The only question that has really come about is the Hangar Bar, which just reopened last week. And I haven't been to Disney Springs since the change happened. So we don't know, or I don't know personally if it is or isn't open.
I saw evidence that it had closed that day. I don't know if that was in relation to this and if it's remained that way, or if that was.
It has. It is closed.
It has. Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, we did get a. Yes, sir.
Did Disney Springs have indoor dining since the beginning it was opened, or has that come after?
No, as soon as it opened, there was indoor dining. Yeah, I ate at Wolfgang Puck's the first day, and then everything. I would say 99% of Disney Springs is open at this point.
Yeah. So I remember my family had burgers.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So a nice thing about Downtown Disney is, I mean, it's an outdoor mall, obviously, and even the Uva bar with its world famous flutes with the ivy still waiting to grow in. Has plenty of outdoor dining. So if they do choose to open up with outdoor dining only, there's certainly lots and lots of space to do that. So hopefully, Mike, you will find yourself there 1 week from now. Because I
will say that also at Universal City Walk, Hollywood, even today I saw they're still reopening more stores. So maybe Downtown Disney will not be affected by this at all, because City Walk doesn't seem to be. They're still going strong.
Isn't the Black Tap is like there's no indoor seating there, right? Or is there anything? That's one of the ones that I heard questions of. Could this actually reopen?
I can't think of.
I mean, there's no outdoor seating there.
Yeah.
Is there any indoor seating either? I mean, do they have much seating in general? So that's
Black Tap is the one on the second level, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all indoors, and then you have seating on the second level there, where Build-A-Bear used to be.
And I'm also wondering a place like Catal, where they have a minimal balcony area, but I'm wondering how much of the indoor need matters. Like I don't know enough about how they're limiting this to know how they'll handle such things, because Catal has the balcony and then that Uva Bar Center, and then the Splitsville has that whole patio outdoor seating location. The place across from Splitsville, is that still Tortilla Joe's?
Yeah, Tortilla Joe's, where I had my wedding rehearsal dinner.
Wait,
yes.
I know that they have a smaller patio area, and I also recall that Ralph Brennan's had a outdoor dining area as well. So the ones I was thinking of that I was thinking could be challenged with this would be Catal, because it is such a small outdoor, and then also the breweries directly across from it, that's on that second floor. The Build-A-Bear, the one that went into Build-A-Bear.
Yeah, Black Tap.
Yeah.
Wait, there's a Build-A-Bear brewery? Wow.
That was the other one I was wondering. So like I say, I'll be
the one under Black Tap, the one with the birthday cake milkshake?
Oh, right. Yeah.
That one called now.
I don't. I'm still learning all the new.
Salt and straw, apparently.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm still learning all the new to me dining locations. I'm still locked in with La Brea Bakery and
Sephora, Island Charters,
yeah, exactly.
Foreign Money Exchange, and ESPN.
Illumination.
The warehouse. What was where they had sold the Christmas stuff?
Oh yeah, I don't.
Department 57, Department
Yes.
22.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
No, that's something completely different.
Something like that.
All right, so we're gonna fly on down to Jeremiah now, and so just before, we had this all set out, because as I'm sure you all know, we spend hours upon hours getting this down to the tiniest detail, and then boom, we get this breaking news that apparently something's going on with the college program, Jeremiah.
Yes, nothing is going on with the college program. When it was suspended, or when it was, the verbiage, pretty much on March 17th or March 16th, it was canceled. Anybody that was here on the college program was done. They were finished the program, so they got the credits. They were those people were said, nope, you can't come back. I know that there had been people that had applied for the future college programs that had received the letters of, yes, we look forward to having you. And then they just received a letter, as according to our story, that they are not coming back. So at this point, it is pretty much full-time and part-time cast members are the only people that will be running the 4 parks and 20-plus hotels and Disney Springs and everything else for the next foreseeable future.
Yeah. Which is just quite a change, because one of the things you get used to going to Disney World is just the number of young people there because of the college program, and it's going to feel a little different, I think.
Well, that, and we don't know about the international program either, that was Epcot. I mean, I know that we got the release a few months ago that wasn't going to be coming back, and we could expect, Joe from Kissimmee to be working in Morocco. So
I can feel my wife looking at me saying, and she's right. Okay, but other cast members, it's fun to be on social media and seeing some other cast members are reporting for work, or we have some family and friends who are reporting for work.
Yeah.
And you can really feel the excitement. They're going back to Disney. They're happy. They're excited, and understandable, right, Jeremiah?
Yeah, I have quite a few friends who have returned to work. a couple that returned to work and then didn't because I know that I have a friend who works at the Enchanted Rose Lounge at the Grand Floridian that was supposed to reopen. And then because it is just a bar, it didn't reopen, or it's not reopening at this time. But my Facebook has been very full of everybody being excited to be back at the parks. A lot of people are saying how Disney is taking steps above and beyond to make sure that not only the cast members feel safe, but the guests will feel safe when they reopen next week.
According to an article I was looking at earlier, perhaps not all the cast members feel Disney is going above and beyond. What's going on with equity? And what is equity?
So the equity performers are, for Walt Disney World, pretty much any show is equity. Finding Nemo, Festival of the Lion King, Turtle Talk, all of those are equity performers that are actually actors, where at Disneyland, even Savi's workshop here is run by equity performers, where at Disneyland it is just a cast member who learns the lines and how to say it.
You can tell.
Hey, I don't want to say that my video of Savi's here is very impressive as opposed to some of the stuff we may have seen out of California, but I know that there was just today something happened. A few people on my Facebook are performers, and they weren't happy with equity. And I know that there's been conversations back and forth between equity and Disney about bringing them back. I don't know the contract negotiations, I guess you could call it, that they're trying to get to come back to Disney, but it doesn't sound like when the parks open we'll have any shows.
Mike,
I haven't had a chance to look at that deadline piece yet. Doobie, have you? I know Laughing Place highlighted it. Was there any?
It was a unanimous vote, so I'm surprised to hear Jeremiah saying maybe there were some dissenters.
So
I guess unanimous by the board is not the same thing as unanimous by the members.
Yes.
Correct. Exactly.
So, but it was a unanimous vote by the board.
I know reading my timeline, while I have a lot of friends who I've seen are excited, there's also, just like I think we all feel, there's like a nervousness too, because there's this intimidation because there's a bit of an unknown. We can prepare as much as we want and we can prepare, but we don't really know exactly yet how things are going to be playing out regarding the Corona and COVID and the theme park environment being open. So one note that's been brought to my attention is that this union that represents them is the same union that represents Broadway performers. Right. So, obviously Broadway's still a ways off, but you have to be careful about perhaps creating a precedent of what's okay here might be what's okay later. So make sure, they hold a line. I did want to ask Mike C a question first. I'll say hi.
Can I issue a retraction and correction first?
Sure.
So I blame this on my terrible memory first, and then also my inability to eat out at the parks mostly. But the brewery that's on the second level where Build-A-Bear Workshop used to be is called Ballast Point. And I feel terrible because I went to the grand opening of Ballast Point.
Did you come up with that memory yourself, Mike?
No, I looked it up.
Oh, okay.
Thank you,
And then
Stephanie.
underneath that is Black Tap. Black Tap is the one that has the birthday cake milkshake, which my wife got and enjoyed, but I could never eat because it would probably kill me. But yeah, there we go. That's Ballast Point and Black Tap. What was your question, Doobie?
Well, you seem to have strong opinions about entertainment, so I was curious as to your favorite equity show at Walt Disney World.
Oh my gosh! Oh boy! See, I was never
Pirates of the Caribbean.
What's that?
Is it Pirates of the Caribbean?
I probably does the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular count?
Yes.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite shows at Disney World for a long time.
You would pick some Star Wars related figures.
Sorry.
All right. Continuing on with Mr. Jeremiah.
To add to that, though, I did see the Finding Nemo musical at Animal Kingdom on my probably 2 or 3 visits ago to Disney World, and that was my first time ever seeing it. And the only reason I watched it was because the media hosts that flew me down there for that event made us go and watch it. Otherwise, I probably never would have seen it. And I thought it was awesome. I thought it has a bunch of cool puppets and stuff, and I love puppets, you know. So yeah.
Okay, so
can we pull the audio bit?
So Finding Nemo the musical is like one of those things that is an article that I have sitting somewhere that I've like written partway but never finished, and it's part of one of the things I really love about the Disney company, and that is the notion that a story can be told so many different ways. That Finding Nemo has been a film, has been a musical, has been an attraction. It's even been, featured in a parade. It's just one of the things that I love about being a Disney fan and exposing children, especially to Disney, is this idea of the many avenues you can take to share a story. It's even a beautiful mural on board the Disney Cruise Line. It's like there's so many different ways to express yourself, to tell whatever it is that's in your heart, in your imagination. And that's like I say, it's like this undeveloped, slightly written piece, and someday it'll see the light of day.
And of course, the best couple wrote the music for it, the Lopi.
Yes.
So I have a comment, since we're talking about Finding Nemo musical. 2 things. One, if you are a father with a son, that show has even more special meaning and you will cry. And 2, I remember seeing this show for the very first time, Finding Nemo the musical. What a silly idea. So we thought, let's go have some fun, sit here and laugh at this show. Me, Benji, some other people who I don't remember. So I'm just going to say me and Benji went to the show ready to just sit there and laugh and snicker and be our normal annoying
like
selves.
Spider-Man rocks. You were thinking you're going to have a Spider-Man rock.
Can we just...
As it went on, that snicker moment just never came. And somewhere about, I don't know, halfway through the show, we realized, wait a second, this is good.
Well,
and now it's like my favorite show there.
I didn't get a chance to go out and see it until I think a few months after it had opened. But that was one of the first soundtracks that appeared on iTunes back in the day. And I bought that when I was living in California and fell in love with it right away. And I think I saw it probably 3 times on my following trip. And to this day, I still say that should be higher ranked than Festival of the Lion King.
Oh, it's not even close. It's not even close.
Yeah, Doobie feels the same.
Anyone that thinks Festival of the Lion King is better deserves a full day sitting in a room with nothing but a bleeding sound going through the... I went a long way for that, for no good pay.
like a giraffe?
We all learned yes, the Lion King will always be remembered as how we learned what a giraffe sounds like. Did
you know, by the way, Nemo is Swahili for "It's My Lucky Day"?
No, that's
whoever gets pulled out of the audience. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. And chug it.
Let's move on. Hey guys, good news. Disney World's about to open. Did you hear?
What? When is this happening?
I am so happy. I have to admit. So I'm happy.
Jeremiah, do you want to talk a little bit about opening in terms of Park Pass, in terms of this thing over there, and opening day and transportation? Go.
Wow. Okay, let me start with that thing that was over there.
Don't know what you're talking about.
There it is. The Fantasia golf course, both the fairways and the mini golf opened up last Thursday, I believe it was. And I've been a bad Central Florida person and have not gone over there yet. Probably because it's been like 150 degrees every day. And yes, I know I live in Florida, so I should be used to it, but it is still not a fun time to go play mini golf when it's that warm. Park Pass, which if you are staying at a hotel, if you have an annual pass, or somehow you had a ticket left over or given to you, you can book that on the website at this time, and it's a reservation system that gets you into the park. There is no time that you have to show up. It is open, close. But I think the last time I looked, the first week starting the 15th and going through that first week, Disney Hollywood Studios was packed. Not packed, but it was booked, so you couldn't book any reservations for that. And I think some of the other parks may have started hitting capacity. The 11th, both Magic Kingdom and Disney's Animal Kingdom opens, and then on the 15th, Disney's Hollywood Studios and Epcot opens with no shows, so that cuts down the capacity on that. But on the 15th, Disney's Hollywood Studios will have Rise of the Resistance with no virtual queue. So what we've all been used to, I mean, both Doobie and Rebecca came out and we did the virtual queue and got there at 6 o'clock and had a great time waiting an hour for a Starbucks. But
we got in.
Apparently that's not going to be happening with the opening, so we'll have to see what happens there. I know it would be interesting to see what Disneyland does with it even more so, but right now we don't know that opening date. But Park Pass is a great way to make sure that you have the ability to enter the park. Right now, I believe they have until the end of September where you can do reservations with the hotels. And it changes, weekly what is and isn't available. So we never know. They announced that Oga's was going to open with the park originally, and they closed that, which kind of goes along with closing the bar. But we'll see on the 15th what it all looks like. That will actually be Tony that'll be enjoying that day. I'll be at Epcot.
My some of my cast member friends out there, they've booked their cast member previews, so they're going to be hitting the parks a little bit sooner than that. So I guess I can't remember what the first day is for those. I know one of the dates I heard was the 7th.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
7th and 8th of July?
Yes.
That's like 5 days from now.
Yep. So we'll start hearing reports of what it's like. I know one of the things that I'm interested to find out specifically is how they're going to handle the Haunted Mansion, if they're going to handle it in the way that we're seeing Tokyo, where Tokyo has left the pre-show areas open and you wander like around the edge of the room. So like that octagonal room with the changing portrait, you're like walk around the edge of the room and they have little delineations where if the queue is actually there, you would, make sure that you're social distance. So you walk around the edge of that room and then you walk through the stretch room and into the is it octagonal? I think it is, but I'm not. I was thinking in my head. I was trying to, but and then you would walk through the stretch room and into the actual ride. They won't be holding you in these rooms like we've experienced, since the dawn of time. I think I've only ever done that once. We did that once. Do you remember that, Doobie? We were at some sort of special event, and we were, for whatever reason, they just had it all open and you just walked through. You didn't stop.
I don't remember the details, but I do remember. I do, however, have a bold prediction right now. Disneyland will not work that way. One would think you're right on that. So.
Why is that? Is that haunted room actually stretching?
Wouldn't it be really fun if instead what they did was they loaded everybody through that down, like you came into the Haunted Mansion through the down escalator and then you
rode it around
right there and you did that through and then that was how they boarded. That's how I used to have, not down the escalator part, but because of my mobility issues, I used to have to board in a weird way because of that. So
to ride around
and down and around, and it was weird. But
from what I've heard through the grapevine, that will be the case with the Haunted Mansion here.
It makes sense. Do you think Tower? Will they do that with Tower, you think, too?
Oh, we need to find out how they're doing it at Tokyo Disney Sea, I guess. Somebody look up the video.
I haven't seen. I wonder if it's open. I know certain things go through refurbishments and stuff, so I don't know. I haven't specifically sought that one out. I forgot until just now to check.
No, things like Tower, I'm trying to think of other attractions that have pre-shows. I mean, Rise of the Resistance is really the biggest question for me, because I can remember that one coast, I can't remember if it's Disneyland or Walt Disney World, that has the bypass hallway that they'd used a couple of times when the transport had broken down. But, that makes it easy. But whichever side doesn't have that bypass hallway, it'll be very interesting to see how that works out.
Is there a hold zone for Runaway Railway? I haven't experienced it. My trip was canceled due to
I
COVID.
heard a yes in my left ear. So.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Okay.
they would probably just open up the pre-show walkthrough, which again, I saw an excellent article to kind of promote one of my friends, Thinkwell Group, who has designed a lot of the parks outside the U.S. and worked on different projects. They posted an article earlier that I didn't get a chance to read fully, but it's pre-show versus queue and what they should and shouldn't do. And experiencing
for Hamilton, like pre-show versus queue, what they should and shouldn't do. All right. Go on. Continue.
Experiencing Rebecca, you married him.
What can I say?
Experiencing stuff like Men in Black at Universal Studios Florida and the Diagon Alley attractions, where they cut out all the pre-shows and you do walk straight through.
Sorry, that's
Gardner?
LA. It's LA for you.
I love it. Love it.
For those attractions, you do bypass any of the pre-show. You just walk straight through. So I think one of the things that we have to remember is everybody that's going to the park at this point are annual pass holders or diehards. So missing out on that little bit of pre-show won't be the best thing, or won't be the worst thing, as long as we get to get on the ride.
Transportation, what'd you find out? Anything, Jeremiah?
Opening day, I've heard that there's going to be the monorails, both monorails from the TTC, the hotel and the express monorail will both be running. And there will be some water transportation, but not all of it will be up. And yes, Doobie, Skyliner will be running.
Quick question for Mike C. What is your favorite way to arrive at the Magic Kingdom? Bus, minivan, monorail, or one of the flotillas?
I think as a kid, I really liked going across on the boat, but as an adult, I prefer the monorail.
All right. Well, the kid in you is correct.
Which monorail, the hotel or express?
Well, they both go through the Contemporary, right?
Yes.
But when doesn't on the way to the Magic Kingdom? See, it's the stop, the resort. It's the stop after the Magic Kingdom. So if you arrive at the TTC and you get on the resort monorail, you don't get to experience the Contemporary until the end of your day. If you're riding that one.
Well, then I'll pick the other one.
That's the wrong answer, because you're usually waiting about 30 minutes where you can walk right onto the hotel one.
I'm fairy,
it's like once every other year if I get to do that. So
don't worry, you and I will not be seeing each other's parks probably for a while.
For me, it's all about the ferry. I go on the monorail only when I'm with other people. When I'm by myself, I wait for the ferry. I don't, for two reasons. I don't like to have to walk up and down the big hill. And then I love the wind in my face as I'm going to and I don't know if it's a real memory or if it's a constructed memory. It's probably a constructed memory because I was only 15 months, but I have a visual and oral memory of my father's checkered jacket arm pointing at the Cinderella Castle while we're on board the ferry heading to the park. And the story that's been relayed to me that I've learned since, but probably had been recounted to me in my youth, but I didn't remember it. But when I shared this memory with my dad, he goes, no, he goes, well, I can tell you, you were crying, you were upset, and I stopped your crying by pointing out to you, look, we're almost there, Cinderella Castle. And so it's like one of those things that stuck with me. But fast forward 5 years, 6 years. When my first trip to Disneyland, when we got to the entrance, I said, "What'd they do with the lake?" Asked my parents, "Where'd the lake go?" And so apparently I didn't realize I was at a different park. So there you go.
They're basically the same. Before I continue, I just want to give the correct answer to the question, which is walk to the Poly and take the little boat, because those are the most fun. Cirque du Soleil. Cirque du Soleil is now selling tickets. What's it called? Drawn to Life?
Drawn to Life.
Drawn to Life. I nailed it. So proud. Drawn to Life, which should have opened in March, but was delayed for some reason. But now they are selling tickets for opening in November. Sorry. So hopefully that's actually going to happen. La Nuba was awesome, and I am very excited to see Drawn to Life when it comes to Disney Springs under the big white tent. And finally, Jeremiah, something big opened at Disney this week, and has gotten not nearly the attention it should have. You want to talk about a little bit? You don't have to spend 20 minutes on it. But let's talk about this.
McDonald's. I'm loving it. So there are often times in my life where I get a message from on high of, you need to go do something. And I think I'd just gotten back from doing something like in my normal life, and hey, can you go to McDonald's? And it took me a second to realize, oh, that means the new McDonald's is open. This is the McDonald's that everybody who's been to Walt Disney World remembers, right by the All-Stars, that originally started as a big Happy Meal box and then got renovated to just a regular kind of McDonald's, and then just reopened a couple of days ago with the new solar, it's eco-friendly. Yes, eco-friendly McDonald's, where they have giant solar panels on the top. They're green walls. They talk about the water that they reuse. It's a really nice McDonald's, but it's McDonald's.
What are those bikes for? Are the guests supposed to be powering the building?
There you go.
Yeah, I've heard outdoor stationary bikes convert your power into electrical energy. It's time for a challenge. Let's see how much you can produce. See how much of that Big Mac you can work off right now.
Do you have that other picture, Doobie, of the close-up of the panel?
I don't. I'm sorry.
So if you go back and you look at there's panels on the two stationaries and then the hand bike, and it actually lets you charge your phone if you want to sit out there and try doing that.
Oh, cool.
So one hand you can be eating your Big Mac, the other phone you can be on your phone, and then you can be pedaling to try to keep your phone alive.
Oh, that's fun though. I mean, I like the idea of demonstrating turning the physical energy into like electrical. That's cool. And then the breathing windows, that sounds so weird. I really want to go see what breathing windows are. And I like the green walls a lot, but I've seen that before. The breathing windows, that's new to me. So I wanna go check out these breathing windows. I like it because it says, "Don't worry if the windows move."
Yeah. When I was sitting there, I didn't see the windows breathe at all, but that little marker was quite interesting. And along with the solar panels on top of the building, they have solar panels on the lights. So all the parking lot lights are solar energy. Inside, they have different recycling trash cans for your trash. With the social distancing and all the safety precautions, they have a lot of the touch screen that we've seen in McDonald's over the past decade, but they've taken it to the next level. Since this just opened and was under construction while this was going on, they'd already built in like the plexiglass display or plexiglass coverings for the cast members that are working behind the counter.
Okay. Quick question for Mike C. Your favorite dish at McDonald's?
I haven't been able to eat at McDonald's in like a decade, but
ouch.
I think I used to just get a cheeseburger. I just would like a cheeseburger.
Like this small? How many?
Okay, well, you would get like 2 for $1 or something, right?
Okay. All right.
I'm terrible at these pop quizzes. I'm not satisfying you with.
But okay, But do you go and get the Happy Meal toys? Like when Star Wars comes out, do you still go and get the Happy Meal toys, or do you just make friends with people and buy them on eBay or stuff?
I don't know if there's been a McDonald's Happy Meal toy that I've wanted in a long time, even the Star Wars ones.
No, the Star Wars ones
were great.
I don't remember what they were. What were they?
They were like enormous heads with tiny body, and then when you would look inside, it had a little holographic image of some other character.
Thanks, Juby. I saw that giggle.
Oh, I should. Can I run and go get one while you guys talk about something else?
Yes, go.
I want to say I have a couple of those, but I won't say how I got them. But
why is it a
wow.
they're like bag
little kid with Happy Meal.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let's move on while we wait for Rebecca to return, because Tokyo Disneyland. Oh, she's back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. See, it's like, and then little R2D2, then like, and then in the back you can like push the button.
Can you hold that up to the camera? We can see inside. Oh yeah.
Yeah. I do have.
I can't see who that is.
I think I have the. I have the Rey and Kylo Ren ones.
I think it was Daggett and stuff.
This one and this one, and then sometimes this would have one guy in it, but other times it would have somebody else. So you had to like get more than one of these. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. The important things, the things that matter. Just Happy Meal toys.
I have a banner for this occasion.
Happy Meal toys.
We're going to talk about Tokyo Disneyland next, but I just wanted to make that.
You're celebrating.
Have any of us been to Tokyo? Jeremiah,
guilty as charged. Totally guilty as charged.
So Tokyo Disneyland has reopened, as is Tokyo Disney Sea. Let's share some pictures from social media because it looks fun, and I'm a little jealous. I've not been there before. I had incorrectly at one point said none of our family has been there before, but Rebecca has actually been to Tokyo Disneyland. Back in, what, 1984?
No, it was 89. It was 89 or 90. I think it was 89. I think it was spring of 89.
Oh, look how fun that looks, just being in a park. So jealous. So anyway, Tokyo Disneyland has reopened. Disney Sea has reopened. All the normal social distancing measures we've all come to know and love, including short wait times, which is a special privilege. So,
and then the app came to the US and Canada, which is nice. So now we can pretend that we're going to go there and download the app. And
they have some of the coolest avatars on there. Like you can get Gelatoni and Duffy and Shelly May. And then they have the Oyster from Alice in Wonderland and Henry from Country Bear Jamboree.
Oh, very
like cool. I wanted to import some of those onto my Disney experience for Walt Disney World.
What are the hardest? Go ahead. Sorry, Mike.
So I've seen the video of Journey to the Center of the Earth at Disney Sea, but what's the best ride at Tokyo Disneyland proper?
I went way long time ago, and I mean, what I enjoyed was the differences on the Star Tours queue. I don't know if they're still there, but they had these two mechanical birds that are like droid birds, and I fell in love with these stupid things. I mean, they're just like this little. It's one of those just like little things, and I was like, wow, those are so cool. How come we don't have those at Disneyland? And I took pictures of them, and then decades later I met the Imagineer who kind of fathered those, who crafted those, and it was cool. It was neat. Oh, you guys are so cool.
I didn't see the birds there when I went last time, but they do have the 3 droids as the hitchhiking ghosts in the queue. Winnie the Pooh is just one of the most amazing attractions, and that's in Disneyland proper because it was the first use of the trackless, and just it's massive.
I don't know what it's like demographically now, but when I went, I was very visible. I was highly visible as a Caucasian guest. I stood out quite dramatically, and so that was a different kind of experience for me. But then also, like, One Man's Dream was happening, and the cast, obviously it's Japan, right? So the cast was Japanese, but it's but one of the highlights of the show is like 25 or something, Marilyn Monroe, you know, so they come out in the plunge white dress and the blonde wig, but they're Japanese. And so it was just like, it was you know, it's one of those moments where I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, I'm not at home, I'm overseas. So it was little, for me, things like that, the language barrier for me, because it was so heavily in Japanese, being told to stand behind the line. There was one time where I had no idea what was being said to me. There was something I was doing that wasn't in keeping with what the guideline was it was at Big Thunder Mountain. I'm still not sure exactly what it was, but my friends had to help me move or something. I was in some place I wasn't supposed to be. I'm like I say, I'm not sure.
I have a thought. Perhaps you were not hanging on to your hats and glasses.
I don't know. But it was beautiful. The park was beautiful. I had pizza with broccoli and corn on it. I wanted to go to Cinderella because that was different. It wasn't something we had, but my hosts did not wish to take me there. They wanted to make sure I saw what they thought were the great rides of the park. So it was, I mean, I had an amazing time, but everything we experienced during my trip was literally 2 hours. I stood in line for 2 hours for Star Tours. I stood in line for 2 hours for Big Thunder. There was something else we waited similarly. So I think we were there for a good portion of the day. I think I only rode like 4 or 5 attractions just because the wait times were so extended during my visit.
Yeah, I was there a couple of years ago, and I actually experienced the exact opposite at times. The day I arrived, I bought the after 4 pass and went into Disneyland. And it was a rainy day and it was a little cold. And I did just about everything in like 4.5 hours. But talking about getting yelled at and told, my favorite was I went to the Country Bear Jamboree show, and they have the warning or the pre-show announcements in English and in Japanese. And in the English, it says no flash photography. And that's it. So I'm there, you know, as a good laughing place person, ready to video it. And I have the cast member come up and stick her hand in my camera and like, no. And I'm like, and, you know, I'm not going to argue. So I just put it down. But it was like one of those things where their regulations or their restrictions are much stricter. Like I tried to go into Tower of Terror, and once you're past the pre-show, they yell at you, or they talk to you in a forceful way that you can't take any pictures. And that's not even on the ride, just walking through the queue. I couldn't take pictures. Like, interesting. Yeah. So, but
that's because they want you to appreciate it for real and not through the camera lens. They're doing this for you, Jeremiah.
I thank you.
It was, I had a wonderful time, but to be honest, Tokyo Disneyland was just one small part. I was there for a week visiting friends because I spent most of my life. My father was a teacher of ESL. And so my summers, while my peers would go to summer camp, I would spend a month and a half with a group of about 150 or so young ladies from Japan, about freshman, sophomore age in college. And they would come over and they would be learning English, and we would tour the Southern California region with them. And so then when I graduated high school, my parents sent me over to their school for a graduation ceremony. So I was over there as their guest. So I was mostly seeing Tokyo and visiting with the friends I'd made over the 10 years that I'd been doing that over the summers with my dad. So Tokyo Disneyland was just a small, like, little cherry on top of an amazing trip to Japan.
That's the most important part, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Disneyland Paris is not quite open. What's their opening date again?
15th.
The 15th. Thank you, Mike.
Yes.
And but their construction has restarted, and they sent along a new construction picture from, let's get this right, Cars Route 66 road trip. So let's take a look at that. It's so cute. It reminds you a lot of Catastrophe Canyon, but the dinosaur, was that a coincidence? Which is weird because they have the tram tour there still. So they have like 2 of them now, right?
No. It's re-themed, Juby.
Oh.
We're not going to get on the retheming topic, though. Let's not do that.
Can I ask a real question though? I haven't dived into this a lot yet, but so is this going to be part of a new attraction type system, or are they in essence just taking the tram tour route and are retheming it, including this?
Yeah, they.
Do we know?
Originally, the tram tour, when you walked right into the park, straight ahead of you was the tram tour. Theirs was quite different than the one at Disney's Hollywood Studios, because they had a Dinotopia backdrop at one point, and
Dinotopia.
Dinotopia.
I haven't thought of Dinotopia in forever.
That ABC show that lasted a week and a half.
Wow.
They had a Rain of Fire area, like that movie. Yes, and it was still there. Like, if you go back and watch our video that we have, you pull into a New York area or London area, and they've stripped off all the Rain of Fire references. So you're just kind of sitting there, and they talk briefly about a dragon underground, and then fire goes.
Oh wow!
And then you go through Catastrophe Canyon. You saw some of their boneyard, but that whole, well, most of the tram tour is turning into the lagoon that's going to be in the center of the park for the expansion. And then the new load area looks to be right next to the Toy Story area, in between Toy Story and Ratatouille. You'll load there. I don't know if it's going to be much, because all that they've really talked about is the Catastrophe Canyon change. You'll get on the tram, you'll go out, you'll see Catastrophe Canyon, you'll come back. It's the Route 66 tour, which I have no doubt it'll be something fun. But I know that I waited for an hour and a half to get on the studio tour in Disneyland Paris.
And worth every minute.
It had a lot of greenery, right? When you would ride the studio tram tour, you would experience a lot of greenery as you were on the tram, right? You'd see something, and then you'd have beautiful landscape, and then you'd see something else, and then you'd have beautiful. I mean, is my memory wrong?
No, that is what it was, but
so
most of their lovely greenery was being destroyed when I was there to build.
I was going to say, so are we expecting that what we're going to see is, in essence, this is going to kind of connect through to that Toy Story zone? Because when I looked at an aerial view, I saw Catastrophe Canyon, and then much greenery, and then the Toy Story Land zone. And I was just curious if we knew any more beyond what this image is.
I don't think we have any definite.
Okay.
When I was out there earlier this year, they had the walls, when you transition from Paris and Ratatouille into Toy Story, they had a wall built just inside that looked like it was going to be the lead into where it was going for the Route 66.
I like the way Jeremiah says Ratatouille.
Oh, it cracks me up every single time.
I love it. It makes me smile. The little things in life. Yeah. See, it's excellent. I like it. I'm worried if I say anything, I'll make him self-conscious about it. So I don't want to. But,
now I am.
But no, it's lovely. Please don't change. I love it.
Do I say rat patootie?
You say it properly. Can I hear you say it, Mike?
Ratatouille.
And now Jeremiah?
Ratatouille?
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
He's got a harder T on the second one.
It's delightful. It makes me smile. It makes me smile much.
And if you do go to our YouTube channel, you can see a ride through of Ratatouille in Walt Disney Studios Paris, since the one here at Epcot isn't scheduled to open anytime soon that we know of.
Moving on. Happy birthday, People Mover.
Yay.
Was that Benji that just sang the Moving Right Along song?
Must have
Probably.
Been.
Thank you.
So People Mover turned.
The disembodied voice.
40 yesterday. Happy birthday, People Mover. We just wanted to say happy birthday. If anybody has any quick thoughts on this amazing attraction, which so happens to be, not this version, the Disneyland version, but the People Mover happens to be my favorite attraction of all time. So we could not let a show go by without recognizing the greatness of the People Mover. Disney World is not quite as good because it's flat the whole time, and that really detracts, even though it does have a cool linear induction. whereas Disneyland's would go up and down. And I really miss that. But other than that, it's still the People Mover. I love it. It does have the added benefit of a cool view of Progress City, which to be able to see Progress City still is amazing. So anyone else have any People Mover thoughts they'd like to share?
What's your favorite? What's your favorite tunnel experience? Is it like, so if you had to rank them, because you have Progress City, you have Speed Tunnel, you have Tron. Was there other?
I think that's it. I don't know what we did before Super Speed Tunnel. I'm guessing it was Dark Room, so that would be last for me. Super Speed Tunnel is by far the best. If anyone that remembers that, so cool.
Like the Indy 500, right?
Huh?
Game grid of Tron.
It was Indy 500 when they had like mounted on a
multiple things. Yes, that was one of them. They had motorcycles. It was so cool. And then Tron was cool, even though the movie. And then, but Progress City, to still see that, I would put Progress City second. What are you looking at, Jeremiah? Progress City is second, and then Tron, because that movie is.
Did anybody? I don't think any of us were old enough to experience when it still had Progress City on the second level of Carousel Building.
No, I'm not 90.
No. Do you remember when it was fun to ride the? Okay, wait, is my memory wrong? But my memory is that when you could ride the. No, it had to have been the rocket rods. You would have ridden the rocket rods when you could see the people in that thing, and they were just like doing the virtual on the Chevy.
Yeah, that would have been the rocket rods.
Yeah, that would have had to have been rocket rods. But
I would have worn my rocket rod shirt if we knew we were talking about that.
I always enjoyed looking at the exhausted people waiting for America the Beautiful when you were. Because that was like the place to go, right? It had that delightful 70s happy peppy music, and you had the mural of the kind of cartoonified United States regions, and you had the lion. It was the Delta Lion, right? Go ahead, Jeremiah.
Dusty the Delta Lion. So, Mike, what's your favorite 360 film?
Can you give me some options? I have multiple choice.
Well, let's see. There's America the Beautiful. There's Canada. There's
Wonders of China.
Wonders of China. We could even go to the current ones if we wanted to do that. But then there is the best one of all, Timekeeper.
The one that sticks out to me the most in my memory is the Canada one, because of the comedians who were in it that I was a fan of, such as Martin Short.
Wow.
Do you know that that's like Doobie's kryptonite?
He hates Martin Short for some weird reason.
He cannot.
I do not know how Mike C is one of my favorite people, considering how much he loves Martin Short and Pirates of the Caribbean.
I think this is the first time I've ever brought up Martin Short to you. Like, it's not like
no, we talked about it. Why did we talk about it last time?
I don't remember.
Oh no, that was actually Mac and I. For some reason, Martin Short got brought up during our Bourne talk.
Yes. Wow, I can't stand that guy. But anyway,
hey, Mac is watching, Doobie. That's not very nice to talk about.
I like the America the Beautiful. I like the America the Beautiful one where it had like New York with that sign that says "Don't even think about parking here." And then you can see the people who are irritated with the camera is like as they're walking down the street. The people who kind of give it a look like, "What are you doing?" Remember
Walt did it?
I think I finally saw that when didn't they bring it back for like a honorific thing.
I have a story that I'll tell really quick because I see we're almost at an hour and we've talked about three things.
We still have like 33 things to go. So
the very last showing of America the Beautiful at Disneyland, I was again one of those people that waited to be in the last show, and we're sitting there in the pre-show, and a cast member is walking and talking to everybody, getting them all excited. Yes, indeed, nerd alert, but it wasn't me. So this was 96, because it had to close earlier because it took all the construction. There was one guest in there who walked up to the cast member and said, "So I have my laser pointer. Can I point out every time Walt appears in the video?" And the cast member was like, "No."
That's so good. Oh, that's so good. I love that. That is awesome. It was nice of them to ask.
Yeah.
That was cool. How fun.
The last day. And speaking of birthdays, apparently this place has turned 8.
Or 9.
8. Cars Land is now 8 years old. And so I guess Radiator Springs Racers is too. And I just wanted to show a couple of pictures here. This is one of the most beautiful sites in all of Disney. I'm just going to say it right now. Disney Parks celebrated with an Imagineer talk about 8 years of Cars Land, which I'm really impressed with how they're putting this time to use with stuff like this. I don't know about you guys, but I love these things. And then just show a couple of construction pictures. If you can remember, this must be like 9-10 years ago when this thing was all under construction. Pretty cool stuff. So
I have a question. Was any of our crew at the groundbreaking for this, or was that not a public, or was that not a public thing? Because I found somewhere, I found on, let's see, what's the website? I'm gonna give them credit. This Day in Disney History, and apparently back July 8, 2009, there was a groundbreaking ceremony at Disney California Adventure, and they dug up the first bit of ground that was to become Cars Land, and apparently Lasseter spray painted an impromptu Lightning McQueen on the pavement. I tried to find a picture, but I couldn't find any evidence. So yeah, but I can, like I say, I scoured. I looked all around the web. I didn't find any evidence. So I wondered if any of our team happened to have been there at the time or not. So I figured I'd ask here.
I think most evidence of John Lasseter's existence has been scrubbed from the internet. So.
Yeah, no, I understand. But I just wondered if we had anybody who was there when he spray painted the Lightning McQueen. So I'm going to continue to look for the evidence of that moment.
You know, you can do it. You can ask Robin Lopez. He may have that picture.
Oh, he sent me down quite the rabbit hole last night. Oh,
he did. Any particular Cars Land, Radiator Springs memories for anybody?
Go for it, Mike.
I remember the first time I went on that ride. It was probably a month or two after it opened. I did the single rider queue, and then when I got off the ride, the first thing I texted to somebody, I don't remember who it was, but I said, in one fell swoop, Disney has justified the existence of both the Cars franchise and Disney California Adventure.
Wow.
So that was my response to that attraction.
I was living in California down the street from the park, so I saw a lot of the construction, and I want to say it was the second Disney Parks meetup was a tour of Cars Land before it opened, and they walked us through and showed us the flying tires and maters with Imagineers talking about how amazing the park is, or the land is. And it was like, that's one of my favorite memories of anything done at the Disney parks, because, that was before they started doing all the virtual walkthroughs and everything. So walking behind that wall, even before the media, it was something really special.
I remember seeing the characters at the expo.
Mm-hmm.
When they kind of offered us a sneak peek of what it was going to be like to have the cars come to the real world, as it were, and being impressed, but then to see it within the whole land. That's still just one of my favorite places to just be. I like to go and just get some food at the cafe and sit out on the terrace there and just watch the cars go by. And especially if you go at dusk, right? Because the way the sun reflects on that landscape, it's just really beautiful. And then by the time you're done, enjoying your meal or your dessert or whatever, and then you wander out, then the neon has all been illuminated through the land. And it's just, it's like, I find it's for me, it's very similar to the joy I have when I go to Harry Potter land, when I visit Hogwarts and that, because it's just, you kind of just step into this world and it's fun. It's very
transportative and
immersive,
if you want to use that buzzword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now soon you'll go from Avengers right into Cars.
It'll be interesting. Well, for me, that's interesting because that's like Avengers is set in real world. So even though it's cinematic, it's still like real world, right? They aren't on some alternate whatever. They're here on Earth. But
Well,
like Radiator Springs feels, it's like you've stepped through this portal into this world where you expect to see a little flying, fly, but it's a car come by. It's just, it's almost weird to see people when you're there.
so, ladies and gentlemen, we have something very special for you now. Mike C is going to premiere something. Oh, Mike C is very special, yes, but even more special than that, Mike C's got a special premiere of something right now. So you want to introduce it, Mike?
Yeah, this is the teaser trailer for a short documentary that I've put together. I actually shot it a few years ago, and then through a combination of laziness and busyness, I never finished it. And then the lockdown kind of gave me an excuse to take some time and actually edit this thing together. And it's about my friend John Allen Hale, who is a local luminary at Disneyland Resort. He's one of those people, like, if you wander around the parks a lot, you're sure to see him. And especially if you hang out in Cars Land, he's a regular there. And he has devoted his life in a very unique way to Radiator Springs racers specifically. And that's, I think, all the intro it needs for just the teaser trailer here.
So we're going to show you a quick teaser, and then please stick around because we're going to tell you how you can be among the first to watch this. Sorry.
One of the things that makes Disneyland special, Doobie and I spent the first 10, 15 years of our marriage at Disneyland regularly, right? No, it's not that long, right?
2000, no, it's only about 6 years, believe it or not.
Okay, 6 years. And then we spent, and then we moved to Florida and we spent a decade there before we've now far away from a. But one of the differences between Disneyland and Walt Disney World is that Disneyland, there's like this little community. And I always tell people that it's very strange how there's so many people at Disneyland that I know, but I don't know. So like, I'm sure if I was at Disneyland, I would know this gentleman as the Radiator Springs guy, and I would probably say hi to him, hey, and I may not ever really even know his name per se, but I would know who he was and I would have seen him and probably chatted with him on occasion. And then if the park shuts down, I have no idea who he is. I have no idea there's like this whole group of people who were, because I would go to Disneyland, a regular part of my life, but yet outside of the park, not at all a part of my life. So when the park goes away, they kind of disappear too.
Sure.
But I thought that you were kind enough to let Doobie and I catch this before you release it to the public. And that, to me, part of that beauty of the kind of the small town feel that Disneyland has managed to bring to us in this modern world, I think was really captured beautifully in this story. The way that this gentleman has made friends with the cast and all that. It's very beautiful. And I think it showcases why the Disneyland Resort is unique among the theme parks to me.
Oh, thanks a lot. And yeah, I feel the exact same way. I used to see John around just being at the parks so often, both of us. And then I read a news story about him. And the next time I saw him, I think I approached him and asked him if he would want to be featured in a short documentary, and he agreed to it. And I followed him around for a couple days in the park, and then we shot like an hour and a half worth of interview footage. And like I said, I just kind of lost track of it and got busy with other stuff. And now it's pretty much done. The version you guys saw is a little longer than the finished version is going to be. It's a little, I trimmed a little bit now, but it's about 17 minutes long. So it's not too much of a commitment, Jeremiah.
I demand the Celestino cut.
This is the Celestino cut. Release the Celestino cut.
Hashtag Celestino cut.
But yeah, I think it's an interesting story, and this guy is an interesting guy, and we're going to be able to share this.
He's in the chat.
He is.
You invited him?
I told him we were going to be talking about
Very
this today.
cool.
Oh, is this him?
Yeah, I hope we get to meet you in person someday.
Yeah, there he
sir.
is.
I very much enjoyed meeting you through Mike's documentary, and I hope someday our paths cross within the berm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So there's John Allen Hale's his name, and we're going to be premiering this short documentary 2 weeks from tomorrow as part of the Disneyland 65th, or as part of Laughing Place's Disneyland 65th anniversary celebration, where we're going to be playing a bunch of stuff and doing a bunch of live streams and things, right?
Yeah, we're going to be doing what we're calling a major broadcast on July 17th.
Nerd alert.
We'll have details soon, but we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff on July 17th. And one of the most fun things we'll be doing is the world premiere of Laps, Mike Celestino's documentary, which will be immediately followed by a live discussion with Mike and John Allen Hale. So that's really exciting. We'll be doing a live edition of Disney Trivia Live. Well, that's kind of redundant. And lots more fun stuff on July 17th. So like I said, we'll have full details later, but we are determined to celebrate Disneyland's 65th birthday no matter what. And we're excited to bring some fun to you.
And if you want to see the trailer again, I'll make it live after this is over, and we'll link to it from the Laughing Place Twitter.
Awesome.
Great.
Thank you. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up. A couple other things we wanted to mention. Once again, I'm just making no sense. So obviously Disney has no fireworks this weekend, but Legoland does and SeaWorld does. And we will be live casting the SeaWorld fireworks. Jeremiah is going to be working really hard to do that for you. So that is one of the many live broadcasts we've got coming up. And I'm going to mention some of them right now, because one of the things we're trying to do is as much live stuff as we possibly can. So here, let me make you guys less distracting. I got the power. No, I'm not going to do that. So
good Transformers reference.
Next week's show is going to be on Friday instead of Thursday, because all the parks are opening. Disney World's opening on Thursday. Downtown Disney is opening on Thursday. So Mike and Jeremiah are going to be hard at work in the parks. So we're going to do next week's show on Friday instead of Thursday, but we've got lots in between. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. we are premiering our weekly Disney News Update, which Mike Celestino has been working feverishly on today, from what I hear. Then also tomorrow, that's at 7 p.m. Pacific. All these times will be Pacific. So if you're in the East, just add 3 hours. It's not that difficult. And then later on tomorrow at 6 p.m., we're going to have those SeaWorld fireworks I promised you coming from Jeremiah. On Saturday night at 7:30, as we always do, Disney Trivia Live, a special 4th of July edition. Monday at 7:30, we've got the premiere, our very first Disney Movie Club. That's a new thing we're doing at Laughing Place, where we're talking about Disney movies live. And we're starting it off with the best possible premiere you could have. We're talking Hamilton. So, by the way, I don't know, did anyone hear Hamilton's coming tomorrow to Disney Plus?
Does that
start to get around a little bit? I wasn't sure. So we're going to be talking Hamilton on Monday at 7:30 p.m. I'm very happy to be a part of that. Looking forward to seeing Hamilton in about probably 14 hours. For me, it comes out at midnight, but I'm going to wait till I wake up in the morning.
What type of fan are you?
The kind that wants to see the whole thing without falling asleep. Old, yes. Tuesday at 7:30 p.m., another edition of Disney Trivia Live. Not sure what we'll be doing there yet. Maybe Lost, maybe not. Wednesday at 7:30, we've got live Marvel time. What is this, issue number 4? I love the numbering of those as issue number. That's really clever. And then, of course, Thursday, everything opens. Big hurrah. Jeremiah will be live, who knows when, all over the place. Mike will be live, who knows when, all over the place. Just make sure you subscribe to Laughing Place YouTube channel and ring the bell. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. And
Instagram.
You'll miss it all. Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. You can't watch us on Instagram yet, but you can follow us on Instagram. And you'll be notified of all the fun stuff going on. Before we close this edition,
dancing to his
I'm
own
not sure
theme
what
song.
Jerry's doing down there.
Jeremiah is singing his own theme song.
Anybody have anything intelligent to say before we close out today? Put those hats on.
We're hanging on to our hats and glasses. This here's the wildest ride on the internet.
Unless you're in Tokyo where they'll yell at you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on Laughing Place Live Disney Parks Talk. If you have a much better name for that, please feel free to email it to me at doobie@laughingplace.com. We're still working on a good name. I love this picture. Mike, this is our thumbnail for this, please. And with that, we will see you next Friday. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.